Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex, and Kristaps Porzingis is heading to Boston in a 3-team trade that also included with the Grizzlies and also the Wizards. Let's go over the trade details just real quick. So again, the Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis, the number 25 pick in the NBA draft, and a first-round pick, top 4 protected via the Warriors in 2024. The Grizzlies get Marcus Smart, and the Wizards get Tyus Jones from the Grizzlies, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and the 35th pick in the NBA draft. And to just quickly talk about the Wizards, because I feel like there isn't that much to say, Tyus Jones is really cool. I think it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a lot more opportunity. Jordan Poole is now on this team. I will have a video on that, on the Chris Paul and Jordan Poole trade as well in the next coming of days. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a more increased role. I really love Tyus Jones. He's probably one of the more underrated players. I think he can definitely do more with the team. Again, how good are the Wizards can be? Probably not that great. They do get a pick out of this as well. Even though it's not, the biggest thing, again, they traded Porzingis and didn't really get that much draft capital back, which is quite unfortunate, I guess. But I think the Wizards are just fine with, tanking on their own and then just taking the good picks from, just from their own capital, not from anyone else. So I think they're okay with that. But now really I want to dive in on the Celtics really, because I think although Kristaps Porzingis, I think, may actually solidify the Celtics having the best front court in the NBA with Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and now Kristaps probably replacing Horford at that starting center position. I think that they're definitely, if they're not the best front court, they're one of the best front court trios in the NBA. I just really don't like the fact that they had to give up Marcus Smart in this trade. And as we know before, this wasn't actually the original trade that was going to happen. They were actually going to send Malcolm Brogdon to the Clippers. And that I was much more interested in, because although I think Brogdon is a very good player, doesn't really bring much of really great value on the defensive end. Isn't really the best playmaker either. He did win 6th Man of the Year. I'm not saying Brogdon is not a good player, but Marcus Smart definitely brings more of what the Celtics need, which is perimeter defense, point of attack, being able to switch, on even on some forwards and some centers sometimes as well. And I think he's improved as a pretty good playmaker as well throughout his career. And also kind of developed into a 3-point shooter. Still a little bit streaky. But yeah, I don't like the fact that the Celtics had to give up Marcus Smart in this trade. Again, I'm not saying he's a great playmaker, but he is definitely one of the Celtics' best playmakers on the team, and which is actually probably more of a diss to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for just not being that great of playmakers. But Marcus Smart is still a very good playmaker. And now that you don't have Marcus Smart, now you're really going to have to be relying on Derek White, on Malcolm Brogdon. And a big reason why Malcolm Brogdon wasn't really going to be ending up in these trade rumors is because I guess there is some uncertainty with his injury that he sustained in the playoffs. So you're going to have to rely on those two guys to be your lead point guards or shooting guards or whatever. And then you're going to have Jaylen Brown as probably the guy who has the ball in his hands, the second most on the team. Obviously, Tatum is going to be at the top. But Jaylen Brown, as we saw in the playoffs, was not able to go from a right to left-hand dribble without losing the ball and turning it over. In that Game 7 against the Heat, he had 8 turnovers, I believe, and I would say half of those were because he couldn't dribble with his left hand. I just didn't come out of the playoffs thinking, oh man, like the Celtics need a Al Horford replacement, and to get that replacement, they need to trade a former Defensive Player of the Year winner in Marcus Smart. And we're going to rely more on guys who aren't really known as passers, but more of just, building block guards. That wasn't something that, came through my mind. Obviously, to get great players in a trade, you got to trade some talent. Maybe not in terms of the Wizards, because they're just kind of giving people away for free. But I think you guys understand kind of what I mean. To get better, sometimes you got to give stuff away. And while I understand, Marcus Smart is a very good player, some people are probably a little bit lower on him than I am. I do like Marcus Smart. Again, do I think he's a perfect player? Absolutely not. I don't know. Kristaps Porzingis can definitely make this team better. I think, with how good of a scorer he is, at least compared to Al Horford. Again, he will be replacing Al Horford, I am assuming. He's definitely more of a scoring threat. Definitely a great rim protector. Has shown improvements as a post player as well, not only just like scoring out of the post, but actually somewhat being able to kind of play make and pass out of the post as well. I think that's something that he's shown since his time on the Wizards, and he's actually been a pretty good drop defender as well, which is, I think he's going to fit in great with the Celtics, and they could potentially be better with him. But I think it's definitely scary to think about the fact that now you're getting rid of your best playmaker, kind of putting it into the hands of guys who really haven't shown the greatest leaps in the playmaking department, and it's something that has really been the Achilles heel for the Celtics team and why they ultimately haven't won a championship. They've been very close. They obviously went to the finals 2 years ago, and then they just went 7 games with the Heat. But again, every time they've lost, it's because they don't have a great playmaker. And again, Kristaps is great, but Marcus Smart was your best option as a playmaker. Now he's gone. What's the offense going to look like? Are we going to see more point forward Tatum? Is Jaylen Brown going to make a significant jump as a ball handler? Is Derek White or Malcolm Brogdon going to step up as well and take that into the role? These are things that are definitely in play, but to be honest, I'm just not counting on them to go to the level to where I think the Celtics can legitimately be a team to beat just overall in, either the East or the West. Like, obviously, they're still going to be a great team, but they need to make the finals and they need to win. That's kind of where they're at this point, and I just don't think this move really gets them to that point. And then also for the Grizzlies, I didn't even talk about this for the Grizzlies as well, which is surprising. I just kind of went on a rant with the Celtics, but Marcus Smart, I think he solidifies the Grizzlies as probably the best defense in the NBA. Having not only Marcus Smart, but also Jaren Jackson Jr. on your team as defenders is very good. Steven Adams will be coming back. He's one of the better rebounders in the league. And I think Marcus Smart is also a really good replacement for Dillon Brooks, who is still going to bring that gritty edge and, can kind of bring the intangibles that Dillon Brooks did. But he's a way better offensive player, and I don't think he relies on, fouling other people to play defense. He's not going to be in foul trouble as much as Dillon Brooks was. So I think overall he is a good Dillon Brooks replacement. And also I saw people complaining that the Grizzlies had to give up 2 first-round picks for him, and they thought that maybe that was too much. But these 2 first-round picks really aren't that valuable. They're going to be in the high 20s or, somewhere between that 20 to 30 range. And to be honest, when you get in that range, it's going to be really hard to find, great talent, especially if you just want to compare it to Marcus Smart. I doubt that, the Celtics or the Wizards are going to find players who are equal talent or even somewhat close to what Marcus Smart is as a player. I just don't think you're going to find that type of value that late in the first round. Again, it could always happen. The draft is completely random, but I'm just not counting on it. And so I think the Grizzlies did fine. I think they did improve the roster, and also adding Marcus Smart. John Morant is out for 25 games, so Marcus Smart is definitely at. I don't think the Grizzlies are going to be, the team to beat with just Marcus Smart and no John Morant. But we've seen, in the past couple years, the Grizzlies are still good without John Morant. And I think Marcus Smart just kind of solidifies that as well. But hey, those are my thoughts on this 3-team trade for Porzingis. Let me know down below what y'all think. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and sub. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so it'll mean a lot. Check out my socials down below in the description. You can also check out this video somewhere on the screen. Don't know what the video is, but please check it out. It'd be much appreciated. Anyways, see you on the next one. Peace out.